The Alfie Whattam podcast.
I suppose the acceleration of graphics when it comes to video games, okay? Because there's been a couple of clips released recently, and I can't tell the difference between if I'm looking at something that's real life or whether that's something that's a game. And with the engines that they're building, they're just getting better and better and better. And the newest one that's come out has just had some improvements on it. And it's getting to the point where very soon we won't be able to tell the difference between like a real life video or something that's created in a game. So let me show you a quick clip of what a lot of people are calling the most advanced video game graphics ever created. It's a footage of what appears to be like a train station, and you tell me if you think this looks real or playable on an Xbox. Let's have a look. So we have, it looks like cell phone footage, which is great because it adds to the realism in terms of the aspect ratio. And the incredible thing for me is every stone has detail to it. And it's not just about like the lights. I think they call it ray tracing, where the lights are like bouncing off the floor like that. But if you showed me that and just said, "Hey, Alfie, that's a video I filmed in the train station," yeah, I'd go, "Okay, cool. I'd believe you." Like it takes somebody to point it out to me for me to go, "This is a video game. This is something that's been created on a computer, and nothing there was filmed. Everything was generated," which poses some really scary questions with AI as well, which we can talk about. But that's been done on like a super computer, by the way, like a quantum computer. Like nobody's going to be able to produce that in their bedroom anytime soon. But everything gets smaller. Look at Moore's law. Look at the laws of accelerating returns. Chips get smaller. They get less expensive, and it just continues to happen and happen and happen and happen. So when you can look at that and create that on your iPhone, then we're in very, very scary territory. But the world's most advanced video game graphics. What do you think, Hashi, when you see that clip?
Amazing. I think entertainment industry is one of the drivers of evolution of technology, I guess, because it's a huge market.
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah, massive. Yeah.
And I think to give them more realistic gameplay, like AR, VR, etc., everything is going in that direction, improving. Even with haptics and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Tesla suit. We did an episode on this. You guys seen this? You can touch somebody on the left shoulder in VR, and you'll feel it in the real world because it's got sensors on it. It's insane. Yeah,
we are going in the direction of Matrix.
Oh yeah. So when you see that, you think we're going to be living in this soon.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. What do you think, then? Would you agree? Would you disagree?
Well, going along with the idea that we are in a simulation,
yeah.
that tells you that
we could be.
We will have the technology that can replicate whatever we think is real.
Yeah, soon. Yeah.
It's just a matter of time again. But I'm not necessarily scared from this innovation at all, because most of the fear we have is because we don't understand it.
Yes.
So as soon as these will become part of the daily life of everyone, now we have LiDARs on our phones.
Sure.
I could scan this room in 3D with you all in a matter of minutes.
Yes, yeah.
And then when we saw documentaries of this technology used in the Amazon to identify ruins that were buried by the bushes.
Yeah.
It's outstanding how we can bring these huge technologies to consumer level.
Yeah.
And at some point we will, because we've seen, we started with the 8-bit era.
Oh, yeah.
Everything had a clear edge of big fat pixels.
Yeah. Early Pokemon games. Yeah, you were...
Well, I'm going back to my video games. I started with Super Mario and all the arcade family. But we are seeing now imagery of things that are completely out of a computer algorithm work.
The evolution is insane. From Pong, the first video game, like that, to that in like 4 decades, maybe even give or take. It's insane. What do you think, Damien, when you see that clip?
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking about the video games I used to play on the TV. It was called TV games. We got like 4 games with that Pong thing and so on, and then Super Mario Brothers. And I remember getting this game a long time ago called Goal. It's like a football game, and the early days of FIFA and Mortal Kombat and those things. And where we are now, it's insane. It's just the whole experience of it's becoming so much more real.
Yeah.
And that whole experience is amazing. And as I said, you got the VRs and so on, and it's probably going to go beyond that as well.
Yeah.
Beyond real and imagination and so on. But I think it's good. As I said, it's not something I'm fearing. We're just going to again adapt to it. But I think it's just enhancing that experience is going to carry a lot of weight, and people will draw to that. Really, we always want it to be more real.
Yes.
We want the games to be more real. It's going to be like, I guess 4D, as you say, you can touch and feel and have the senses as well. So
I did a full episode on VR, the future of VR, and we have the Tesla suit. So if you get shot in VR, you'll feel the bullet. Not quite as intense, hopefully, but you have VR smell. So you have devices which hook to your VR headset. You pick up a rose in the game, you'll smell the rose. Yeah. You've got Tesla gloves where you will, the weight of objects in VR, it feels different because it bends your fingers and doesn't add mass, but it adds weight to whatever you're lifting. You have the omnidirectional treadmills, which it's hard to describe if you haven't seen one, but imagine a treadmill where you can walk in any direction. So it's the size of a chair. You stand on it and you can walk forward, and in real life you're staying in the same spot. In VR you're running up a mountain, right? You combine all of this stuff together with those graphics, and then why would you leave? Why? Because you can become anything instantly. And all you got to pay is $5.99 to Mark Zuckerberg a month.
But my question would be then, at what point we're getting so close to do at home what we could do outside that is not worth doing at home? You could do it outside. Sure,
yeah, but outside, if you work in a coffee shop, or you're a construction worker, and you might love it, but if you hate your job, or you can put on a headset and then boom, you're living in a penthouse. You're flying like Iron Man around the world. You're visiting your parents on the moon. It's the same as reality in terms of the graphics, but it might be better in terms of the experience, if you know what I mean. If I didn't tell any of you that was a video game, if I showed you that clip, would any of you believe me? Would you question it, or does it need me pointing it out for it to make it seem like a video game? What did you think, Damien, when you saw that?
No, I couldn't see the difference. It looked very real to me. I couldn't. If you pointed it out to me, I wouldn't. Yeah.
Would you have noticed?
Same here. My worry is, I think we need additional software applications to identify this is real, this is not real.
Yeah.
Because where we have fake audio, fake
deep
video,
fakes.
fakes are amazing. I mean, some of them could be used at court against you.
Yeah.
So somehow we need to identify that one is computer generated, this one is not, for example.
Yeah.
I think also, I don't know how it's gonna affect us in terms of, I guess, even things like mental health and so on. It's a great psychology. It's like, as you said, you're kind of having a bad day or whatever, you escape. Yeah. You kind of escape into this new world. Yeah. To get away from maybe your real world or your real life. What impact is that going to have?
Yeah.
That's
interesting. Would you see that as real when I showed you it, Danielle, or would you question it?
I think my gut feeling could have been biased by the fact that I knew before.
Sure. But if I didn't tell you, if I said, hey,
there's
a train station,
actual memories, would have tricked me.
Yeah.
But probably we need to. It looked too perfect.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that it looked like it was taken on a phone, but it was a bit of a smooth movement compared to the.
It was staggering. I get what you're saying. Maybe they could make it worse on the game to make it seem more like real life. which is a weird thing for tech to be doing. It's trying to make it less in order to make it seem real. But the mental health thing is a brilliant point, and not something that I had considered too much. But if you're wearing this, like, let's say it's really, really good and people are spending 8 hours a day in it, they're going to their VR office and they're all, having coffees together, they're doing VR games with their friends, they're doing VR fitness, whatever they're doing to whatever the use case is. Is that as good as us having a conversation now in person? Could that make you mentally, depressed, anxious, socially awkward if you're just inside all day with a screen strapped to your face? You raised the point, Damien. So what do you think of the mental health side of this? Could this backfire and just cause people that are using it to become depressed and anxious?
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. I think it's, especially with kids and so on, and they're always switched on to social media like all the time, and does this bring another level of potential bullying? And I don't know. It's I think it's something that needs to be explored. I think it could. I think it could as you said, having this headset on, like how much you have your child and they're like 24 hours with this headset walking around the place and so on. I don't think that might be very healthy.
No.
So it brings that, maybe from a parenting point of view, it brings that extra difficulty in parenting your kids and limiting VR time and stuff like that, and so on. But I don't personally think it's gonna be healthy to be living in this world all the time.
What about your take, Hashi? Because your product that you help develop makes kids' lives better. It's great for fitness, it's great for security, for privacy and tracking, and making sure the family is close, connected, and feeling safe, right? This could have the opposite effect. It could lead to cyberbullying, people, with problems after long periods of use. What do you think, that's a risk, or do you think I'm overplaying the potential downsides?
I think the key is the balance. That balance could be different for many people, but we need to find the right balance between physical world and digital world. Yeah. Not just kids, us as well. I think even if you are into something for 2 hours just in front of a screen, just before going to bed, I'm sure almost 90% you would be dreaming about it, and it's not healthy. Some experts say physically and mentally, they recommend us having, for example, in the morning half an hour walk, having some fresh air, maybe after lunch have a half an hour walk. They tell us to, if you are living by the sea, just go and have a walk, look further away from the screen, explore trees and birds, literally. That's good for your both physical and mental health.
Sure.
If you don't find the right balance as adults, I think kids would. They're already struggling.
And they'll copy, won't they? They'll see and they'll do. And if you're going for a walk on a VR beach, then it's probably you probably need to put the headset down at that point and then step outside. But
even for example, everything is enjoyable. One of the things we are having with our legs, with our eyes, immediate medical issues start. We see these issues straight away. So I think even if you are playing on your own, that's what I'm trying to say. But if there is a social interaction, and you have all sorts of people, even between friends. For example, bullying at schools is even in the physical world is an issue. Yeah, and we have the amplified version on online games and environments. I think it's just a matter of adaptation, education. First, us as adults, I think, and then safely onboarding the kids. I think we can't avoid it, obviously, but I think we should listen to expert advice and try to find the right balance for ourselves.
Yeah, I think just add, I think maybe that's where maybe governments have to come into play as well. I think there are regulations on, the talk about the online safety.
Yeah.
Those conversations they're having it now.
Yeah, there's stuff happening because of some recent events in the news with people committing suicide and then that being linked back in some respect to social media. So I think that's more social media regulation, but metaverse regulation, that will be an interesting one. Because if everyone's living in the metaverse, I mean, that's like a different world. So is Zuck then the president of the metaverse? I mean, do they have an election? How does that work? I mean, who knows? But what do you think about the mental health side? Just to finish off this topic, what would be your perspective? Are we overplaying it? Are we downplaying it? What would be your point of view?
What I'm thinking is, can we trigger the same biochemical reactions that we need for, let's say, a walk down the beach?
Yes. Yeah.
To be healing even in the metaverse.
Yeah.
So are we addressing the different type of lights? There's a lot of focus on the blue lights coming off your screen.
Yeah.
But then are we looking to provide the correct lighting so that your sleep habits are actually improved rather than hindered?
Yeah.
I think we do have the technology. You mentioned as meddling communication, if you want. That is something that probably would complete the experiences as long as we try to reproduce what's healthy.
Yes. Yeah.
Because we have seen a lot of pushback on violent games in the 90s.
Yeah.
But
it didn't stop it, though, did it? I mean, we still have Grand Theft Auto, we still have shooters, and in a good way. That's I don't want to get rid of them all. I mean, that would be boring. But
we've seen Brawl before, we've seen them after.
Yeah.
These days, I almost regret not having square offs on the street,
sure.
And instead people resourcing to actual weapons kids stabbing each other. I don't remember growing up in a society that had. I mean, for me to access blades, it was very easy.
Yeah,
I was actually very much into it. I was collecting all sort of pen knives.
Yeah.
But never thought I would be harming with those.
Yeah.
And these days, it's scary.
Yeah, look, it's definitely. I know in London, I think it's on the rise. I mean, I'm saying that with like no knowledge at all of the stats. I'm just going off complete gut assumption. There is a really great book about this, which kind of talks about the respect that every crime in the world globally is actually getting better and reducing in terms of the years. But the fact that that on the media, if it bleeds, people will read it. If it bleeds, it reads. That's what gets clicks and headlines. You have a headline, Putin to launch nuclear attack, and then boom, people will click on that. If it's something that's not scary or violent, people won't click on it. But anyway, that could be a completely different conversation. Hey, thanks for watching this YouTube video. If you want to see more like this, please remember to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.